Hi everyone, Mr. Markwick here. In one of my previous videos, we looked at home loans, mortgages, and determining the minimum repayment and also the total amount of interest you would pay. From that, you obviously would work out that you pay quite a lot of interest when you're paying off a home loan or a mortgage. In fact, it's not uncommon to pay more interest than what you actually borrow in the first place. So my next, few videos are going to be based around some different strategies in trying to minimize the amount of interest you pay on a home loan or mortgage. So this video is just going to be looking at making larger repayments per period. So we'll get straight into the example here where it says a $175,000 loan is taken out over 25 years, 8.25% per annum with interest being compounded monthly. The first question that asks us is to calculate the minimum monthly repayment. So we're going to do that on the graphics calculator. So to do that, we'll just input the values of n being the number of periods that the loan is taken out for. So it's 25 years. And because it's being paid off monthly, it's 25 times 12, which is 300. The interest rate that we need to put in there is 8.25%. The PV, present value, is the principal that you borrow. So in this case, because we're borrowing money, we're putting in a positive value for PV, which is 175,000 as a positive value. PMT is the payment per term. That's what we want to work out. So we'll ask the calculator to solve that for us. The future value we want to be 0 because you want to pay off that loan completely. PY and CY will both be 12. PY is 12 because we're looking at calculating the minimum monthly repayment, and CY is 12 because there are 12 compound periods per year as the interest is being compounded monthly. So in our graphics calculator, we just put those values in and ask it to determine the PMT for us. So open your graphics calculator in the financial section here, compound interest we're looking at. In this case, I've already put some of those values in. Once you've got them in this case, we're looking for PMT. It tells us that we're looking to pay $1,379. And remember, we always round up to the next cent, so 79 cents. So the minimum monthly repayment will be what do we work it out to be? $1,379. So $1,379.79. Okay. So the idea of trying to minimize the amount of interest based on this situation is to try and increase the monthly repayment. So rather than paying just off the minimum in 25 years, Part B says if an extra $100 per month is added to the repayment, how many months sooner will the loan be repaid? Now, it's important to read the question here. This one actually says, how many months sooner will the loan be repaid? So yes, we want to work out how long it's going to take to pay off the loan, but then we're going to refer back to how many months sooner. So at the moment, remember, the number of months is 12 times 25 or 300 months the loan is. So we're going to work out how many months it would take to pay off paying this plus an extra $100 per month. So on my graphics calculator, I will then ask it to determine the value of N for us. The interest rate is still going to be 8.25%. The present value is still going to be the positive $175,000 that we had in already. PMT we have here given to us, but we're going to put that in plus an extra $100. So it's going to be $1,479.79. But because this is something we're paying back, it's going to be a negative value that we put into the graphics calculator. This is really important. A lot of people make this mistake that don't put a negative value in for PMT, and hence they get an incorrect answer. It's probably the most important part of this video. All right, make sure you're putting a negative value in for PMT when you're changing that. The future value, again, we want to be 0. Payments per year and compound periods per year will both be 12. So once you have all that there, that's your working out, you're going to pop that into your graphics calculator and ask it to solve for N this time. So if I exit, I'm going to make those few tweaks. Let's set N as 0 for now. We'll ask it to solve. And this now becomes minus $1,479.79. And you simply then ask it to determine the value of n, which in this case is 244.7. We're going to round it up to 245 months. So approximately. Now this is going to be an approximate answer when I'm calculating my final solution here, part C, because I have rounded this number up. You can look at the last repayment a little bit more carefully if you did want to determine the exact value, but for the sake of this course, giving this this approximate value is completely fine. So based on the extra $100 per month, I'd pay it off in 245 months. But the question, remember, said how many months sooner will the loan be repaid? So to work that out, we do 300 months, which is the original loan term, take away 245, which gives us 55 months sooner. Okay, so that is the answer to question B there. The last question, part C, says to basically calculate how much interest would be saved by making the higher repayments. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to work out what the amount of interest I would have to pay be using the payment of $1,379.79, and then obviously compare that to the total amount of interest that I would pay if I paid an additional $100. So if I made the minimum payment, I would do $1,379.79, and I would pay that back 300 times, okay, and pay it off in 25 years. Now, I've got the total amount of interest. It's that amount, take away the amount I borrowed, which was $175,000. And to save a little bit of time, I've already done that calculation. The answer to that is $238,937. That's how much interest you're paying based on that, that problem, and paying back the minimum amount per month. Now, if you were to pay an extra $100 a month, you'd obviously be paying $1,479.79 per month, but you'd only be paying that for 245 months. Again, that would be the total amount you repay. So if you take away the amount you borrowed, that would tell you how much interest you had to pay on that loan, which then works out to, again, I've done this one, $187,548.55. So the difference between these two amounts is how much interest you would save. So total interest saved will equal the $238,937 subtract the $187,548.55, which again I've worked out and calculated to be $51,388.45. So that's how much interest you would save by simply paying an extra $100 per month if you can afford it. So that's the first video in this, like I said, a little bit of a series of methods to reduce the amount of interest you pay on a mortgage or a home loan, keeping in mind this final answer here again is an approximate value because I rounded up this from 244.7 to 245. But again, for the sake of this course, that approximate value is completely fine as a solution. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching and hope it helps.